The postseason is on the horizon for the Diamondbacks, but they're going to need a lot of help to get there, including a lot of help from the Mets losing in order for them to get there. We have more on what it is exactly going to take to get the job done. We also have some fun Randy Johnson memories to look back on Throwback Thursday and so much more. Don't you go anywhere. We're starting in 30 seconds. Welcome in to Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K. This is the PHNX Dbacks podcast. I am your mayor of PHNX, occasionally known as Derek Montia, and sometimes I'm even known as Cattell Marte. And I have to throw this over. I guess I am the mayor of second base, and I got to throw this over to my tag team partner, a.k.a. my double play partner on the ones and twos today, Damon Dog himself, Damon Farrell. Damon, you got to get on screen because they need to see the chemistry that we have today. This is pretty incredible. We didn't even call each other about this, but what do you get? Oh, he's getting up and getting over here. He's not even getting on screen. He's just popping over here. Look at this. Look at this tandem. Wait, let's flip it around. All right, well, we're pumped for the Diamondbacks to try to do something special, and you should be too. Of course, welcome into the PHNX Diamondbacks podcast. This show is brought to you by our friends at Bet365 and Game Time. Make sure to go download that Bet365 app. Use our code of PHNX365, and you'll get some bonus bets just for following a few easy steps. And then over there, Game Time, you can use our code of PHNX on top of their great deals, their last-minute deals. You'll get $20 off using that code of PHNX. It's also Big Brothers, Big Sisters month around here, and we at PHNX are supporting this great cause. You can help young kids in the Valley and throughout the entire state get mentorship that they need by helping us donate to this great cause. All you got to do is simply hit the donate button right here on YouTube. If you were planning at any point on sending us any super chats or anything like that throughout the month, we greatly appreciate those. We truly do. But for this month, let's go ahead and get it over to the great organization over there at Big Brothers and Big Sisters. Anything helps as we push to reach our all-city goal of $50,000. So again, help support the great work of Big Brothers and Big Sisters and all that they do in our community by hitting the donate button today. Love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here. Deborah, thank you for being here. She says, love the jersey and hoodie. Yes, it is slightly cloudy outside and it is below 100 degrees, so I am in a hoodie. And that's,
Derek took his opportunity.
I will never miss an opportunity for hoodie season for sure. But just a quick recap of what the Arizona Diamondbacks have done. I know it ended on a sour note, especially considering the wonderful work Brandon Pfaadt put into the finale. But the Diamondbacks do win the series over the Giants 2-1. They also take the season series over the Giants, which is very important as well. And like I said, Brandon Pfaadt was simply incredible yesterday. He set a career high with 9 innings pitched. He became the 8th Dbacks pitcher to work 9 scoreless innings with 1 or fewer hits. And he became the 3rd Dbacks starting pitcher, unfortunately, in the first at home, to throw 9+ shutout innings and not be credited with a complete game shutout. He joins Miguel Batista and Edwin Jackson, who both did that same unfortunate feat. It is the first time in MLB since the Mariners' George Kirby had a 9-inning shutout that didn't result in a complete game shutout on August 12, 2023. So it's been over 2 years since a pitcher has had to endure this awful fate. Usually you get the run support, and Brandon Pfaadt did not yesterday. But Corbin Carroll did hit his major league leading 17th triple, and he recorded his 29th stolen base. He is currently 1 stolen base shy of becoming the first Diamondback with a 30 home run, 30 stolen base campaign in team history. That's pretty good. Also, Geraldo Perdomo on the horizon of matching a similar feat with 20 home runs, 25 stolen bases, and 100 RBI. He would be the first Diamondback to do that. And I believe, if I'm not mistaking this, I believe he'd be the 7th shortstop in Major League Baseball history, qualified shortstop to do that fate. So feat. So really cool things happening with this team. Unfortunately, like I said, they didn't get the S word done in the finale. I've eliminated the S word from my vocabulary now. I will not say it anymore. I think the Diamondbacks might need to eliminate it from their vocabulary since they don't really do it, nor do they have it done much to them. But they need to avoid all of that with a big week ahead of them. I've said it. I said it when the Giants series started. The playoffs start now. So if that was a playoff series and it's a 3-game series, the Diamondbacks got the job done 2-1. And right now, I think that's the best that we can ask for. If they so happen to possibly figure out a way to S-word one of these other teams that are in front of them, then that would be great. But for the most part, we're going to take a look on exactly how the Diamondbacks can get to the postseason and what they're going to need from the Mets and the other 2 teams that are currently in the race in order for them to get there. But let's take a quick look, little recount of what happened in this series against the Giants in case you missed it yesterday. The Diamondbacks did outscore the Giants in this series by a score of 15-11. Both teams only had 2 home runs, no home runs by either team in the finale. Meanwhile, the Giants were 7 for 13 with runners in scoring position for a .538 batting average to the Diamondbacks 9 for 35. The Diamondbacks literally nearly had 3 times the amount of opportunities with runners in scoring position and only got 2 more runs in that situation. Of course, they had a great starting pitching ERA, but the Giants still beat them on that. 1.93 starting pitching ERA for the Giants, really good for them. 2.84 ERA for the Diamondbacks, and then relief bullpen ERA 6.23 there for the Giants, which is pretty bad, and that is something that the Diamondbacks should be proud of considering what the Giants ERA, relief ERA for the season is. They have the second best, or at least had the second best relief pitching ERA entering that series. Diamondbacks, meanwhile, have a relief pitching ERA of 4, and that wasn't great. And a lot of those runs allowed is what allowed the Diamondbacks to lose that finale. But let's take a look at the updated wild card standings and where the Diamondbacks currently at. Now, there is a game right now in progress, and that game is not necessarily going our way right now. But the Mets there, I believe they were 78-76 or 78-75, and the Diamondbacks are 1 game back. The Reds and Giants there sit back. Of course, this is what it's going to be right now should the Mets hold on to beat the Padres. And overall, the Diamondbacks are still within shouting distance. The Mets did lose yesterday, so that was good to keep pace. But like I said, unfortunately, they're winning today. And that is not what the Diamondbacks need. The Diamondbacks need the Mets to lose as many games as possible so that they have any kind of chance to actually catch up in this race. Them beating the Padres in a 3-game series is not good for the Diamondbacks. And quite frankly, what in the hell, Padres? We needed more out of you. We needed you to bring your best right now. And honestly,
the Padres just screw us, man.
They love to screw us, don't they? They love it. It's their favorite thing, whether it's us playing them in the final series of the year to get into the playoffs or them just needing to beat the Mets 2 out of 3.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't
matter. Speaking of wild things, I think we have this tweet from our guy, Jack Summers. I'm throwing a lot of graphics at Damon right now. Damon, just keep it rolling.
We're going to keep it going all day.
We're not stopping.
No. You said it was a robust rundown today, Derek.
Yeah, I wasn't lying.
I will say in the future, I know that means something completely different.
Yeah. It means Damon has a lot of work to do is what it means. But this stat from Jack Summers is crazy to me, and most of you probably won't believe it considering what we think of the Diamondbacks when it comes to runners in scoring position and how they've done. But here, according to Jack Summers, the Diamondbacks stat you won't believe, and I said I didn't believe it myself, since August 1st, their batting average with runners in scoring position is .289, which is 5th best in Major League Baseball. And also their runners in scoring position in high leverage situation is .312, which is 9th best. And then he goes on to say the broadcast will only mention in passing when they go 4 for 9. With runners in scoring position, but then they beat it to death when they go 1 for 9. That's fair, and I'm probably guilty of that a little bit too, Damon. But I mean, when the Diamondbacks lose and they had 9 scoring opportunities and they only converted on 1 of them, I think that's a big reason why you're looking at them losing, right? Like, yes, they should be commended when they do drive in runs, but as we've seen in the last couple of days, they've had that winning run sitting right there and just couldn't get the job done. Again, like I said yesterday, it's easy for me as a pudgy guy in a hoodie who's very comfortable right now in like kind of like I don't know, sweatpants shorts is what you'd call them.
I thought you were Cattell Marte.
I mean, that's what people around the office were thinking. They were like, it's basically like hard. It's like I'm a Cattell Marte impersonator, right? But this has been a frustrating situation. It's easy for me to sit here, though, and say how easy it is to get that runner in. Major League Baseball teams are very good. Diamondbacks, in fact, were very good at keeping a runner at third there in the finale with less than 2 outs and not allowing that run to score. Credit to Brandon Garcia on doing that. But overall,
I think, when it comes to this, Derek, a part of that, and I'll push back on what Jack said a little bit, is, to me at least, when you go 4 for 9, that's a lot more like a normal game than when you go 1 for 9.
For sure.
Like
for sure.
3 for 9, 4 for 9 is where a good team should be sitting. If the Diamondbacks go 8 for 9 with runners in scoring position, all of a sudden it is the biggest story of the game. And the broadcast team is talking about, well, the Diamondbacks hit 850 with runners in scoring position today.
Right.
Whereas like when it's kind of in that like 300, 400 range, that seems pretty normal. Whereas when you're 1 for 9, that's like 150. That's horrific.
Yeah, league average is like around 250, right? Mm-hmm. So even for this series, the Diamondbacks going 9 for 35 for a 257 batting average is just slightly above average, right? So it's not like it's a terrible thing. But again, in a game where you lose by 1 or 2 runs, those margins are very thin. The area for not converting those runs is that you don't have a lot of ability to not get those runs in. So of course, if it's a 1 for 9 day, then yes, that contributed to the loss, and it's worth bringing up. But let me see. Rhonda in our chat says Diamondback postseason brings back nightmares when the Mets and Braves played 2 extra games after the season ended in 2024. That, Rhonda, is why we need to get revenge against the Mets. And I'm going to show you guys how we can do so, or at least I'm doing some basic math here, so I'm not doing anything earth-shattering, but we're going to talk about that. First, we do have to talk about the Diamondbacks making a roster move and that impacting this upcoming series with the Phillies. The Diamondbacks have selected the contract of Philip Abner, who will wear number 50 in his major league debut. He's a left-handed reliever from the Reno Aces. In fact, Abner has kind of cruised through the Diamondbacks minor league system this year, and he has played for the Amarillo Sod Poodles this year and now has played for the Aces. I believe he even started the season out, if I'm not mistaken, in Visalia, if I'm not mistaken. Hillsborough, excuse me. He was in Hillsborough this year. He also has pitched in Amarillo, and he has pitched now in Reno. In 8 games in Reno, he has not allowed a single run, not one run. And in 8 1/3 innings pitched, he has given up 2 hits and 3 walks in Reno. I just want to keep throwing that out there. It's the PCL, guys, and that's how much he's given up. So that's very exciting. And considering Kyle Backus has really struggled lately, especially in those high leverage situations that the team has put him into, it makes a lot of sense to give somebody else that is pitching this well at this time an opportunity. It's kind of the perfect thing the Diamondbacks need to do. You need to try something new. Your bullpen has not been as solid as you would like it to be. That's an understatement. And right now, even some of the guys that you can count on, like John Curtis yesterday, have their occasional absolute disasters.
Does John Curtis have the craziest ERA you've ever seen? I mean, I saw it the other day, and it was like 3.08, and I was like, excuse me?
What's weird is he'll either be great or he'll be like he was yesterday. Like he'll be really ineffective I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's a good trait or not, but it does. You're right. He does have an ERA doesn't really make a whole heck of a lot of sense right now, but neither does a lot of things going on with the Diamondbacks bullpen. I don't understand the success and sometimes the failure. I mean, when you take a look at his last 5 games, you're talking about John Curtis. He had 4 earned runs allowed yesterday, and then 0 earned runs allowed in his last 4 starts dating back to September 6th, though, or not starts, but appearances. There he is. He's always appearing. He's always lurking. He's always listening. But I don't know. I don't know, man. I mean,
is John Curtis Big Brother?
Perhaps. He might be. We might have to start calling him Big Brother John Curtis. And I don't know, while you were away, we did change James McCann's name to Sexy Man James McCann, by the way.
That's fire.
Maybe Sexy Man Jimmy McCann, because Sexy Man Jimmy McCann. Yeah, that's it right there. But hopefully Sexy Man Jimmy McCann can help lead this team to victory. Zach Gallen still can't say enough nice things about him. Torey Lovullo is specifically matching Gallen up with McCann. And I mean, that whole situation is working well, and we will need it to, because Zach Gallen will be leading the way in this series here against the Phillies. You also feel pretty good about Ryan Nelson getting the ball tonight against Taijuan Walker. Let's take a look at the probable pitchers from this series. And of course, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they I don't know if you want to call it an advantage. I don't know if what we're going to get out of any one of these guys. With the way that Ryan Nelson has pitched all year, you feel very strong about him being the first guy out there on the mound. You also have Zach Gallen going out there, who has been incredible lately. Zach Gallen, quite frankly, has been outstanding. Ryan Nelson this year, 7-3 with a 3.34 ERA, going up against Taijuan Walker, former Arizona Diamondback, and honestly, amazing. He makes some amazing tacos. 5-8, 4.17 ERA this year. Again, you're not getting the best, but it feels like they did move some things up here. And there's definitely an unfortunate ending here in Game 3 for the Diamondbacks. But Game 2 is Zach Gallen going up against Aaron Nola. Aaron Nola has not been good this year for the Phillies, so that's another game that you feel a little bit of an advantage goes the Diamondbacks' way. Zach Gallen, 12-14, a 4.73 ERA. But that 4.73 ERA is fairly deceptive based on what Zach Gallen has done this season. Zach Gallen has been incredible lately, and that's kind of what the Diamondbacks need from him for sure. But last, you got Erod. Which version of Erod? No idea. 8-8 this season, 5.12 ERA, and now he gets Ranger Suarez, which we were hoping it was going to be an Erod Aaron Nola matchup there in Game 3, but instead we now have Ranger Suarez. And Transonic brings up a very good, unfortunate point right there, where this could be Zach Gallen's last home game at Chase Field. And it's not been it's not been an easy season for Gallen, right? But overall, this has been he's been a great pitcher for this team. He will go down in history as one of the best pitchers in franchise history. And you're probably right. Like, this is most likely his last home game. Hopefully we get more Gallen in the postseason. Hopefully the Diamondbacks get a postseason game at Chase Field. Let's hope for that. But this very well, could be his final regular season game, or will be his final regular season game at Chase Field, barring any kind of acceptance of a deal for, maybe like one season. If not, the Diamondbacks, do make that qualifying offer and we'll get that compensatory draft pick. But hats off to the Milkman, because Gallen, even though he was not great this year, even though he was not his normal self, has been consistent and outstanding for this team throughout his tenure as a member of this franchise. And again, like I said, can't say enough about just how he set so many records and became a huge part of this franchise's history. So let's see. Scott Mack in the chat says, what are the odds Boris advises Gallen to accept the qualifying offer? That's something that we have kicked around a lot. There's a lot of arguments to be said for both. On one hand, I do not know, based on the value that teams saw in Gallen at the trade deadline, I do not know if those offers are going to be $20+ million per year. He deserves it, but again, his value is probably at an all-time low. He's had a chance here to rebound, though, and I think the last couple of weeks for Gallen have really been important for him to have a chance at a team offering him that. I mean, I think that slumps happen to pitchers all the time, just like they happen to hitters, and I think that baseball is a very difficult game. But when you look at what Zach Gallen has done recently, it's a lot more of the Zach Gallen that we know. I know he did give up those 5 earned runs in his last outing, but I mean, if you date this back to, I think August 22nd to now, Zach Gallen has a 2.68 ERA. 2.68 ERA, 6-3 record in 53 2/3 innings pitched. It's pretty good, Damon. So I don't know. I think
it is.
Looking at what he's done lately could allow Gallen to get a bigger offer than what the qualifying offer is. He might also see the potential in returning for a year to have a big season, get things back on track, and then get that big offer. He might just accept a short-term offer from another team. It might be more than the Diamondbacks qualifying offer, and most likely will be, and then just rebound with another franchise. So overall, though, it sucks to lose Gallen. It does make it suck a little less to get something in return if he chooses to walk and put the franchise in a position to get a good young player through the draft. But they will need Zach Gallen desperately against this Phillies team because this is a very, very tough team. They are very good at a lot of things, including offense and starting pitching, and they are on a roll right now. They have been beating kind of the tar out of teams. They just took the National League East. They clinched that division, and let's take a look at the Phillies at a glance. They are 91-62 this year with a plus 124 run differential. They are 8-2 in their last 10 games. Their 761 team OPS is fourth in Major League Baseball. Their starting pitching ERA is 3.57, which is third. Luckily, their bullpen, not great, and that's something the Diamondbacks have been good at taking advantage of, so hopefully they can do that in the series. Relief pitching ERA is 4.38, which is 22nd in Major League Baseball, and then outs above average, they have 11, and they are 12th. Meanwhile, the Diamondbacks have 12 outs above average, and they are 11th. So these two teams are matched fairly well. The Phillies, the one thing the Diamondbacks do have going for them in this series, and perhaps in the remaining two series after the Phillies, is that hopefully these teams won't have much to play for by that point. But we've seen how that has worked out for the Diamondbacks in the past, and it has not worked in their favor. What do they have to do in order to get to the postseason? We are going to break down exactly how many games they need to win and how many games the Mets need to met on the other side of this break. So don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, Gila River Resorts and Casinos is the place to go for a next level entertainment. Nobody does it better than Gila River Resorts and Casinos. You can visit any one of their 4 locations. 2 of them are resorts, and those 2 AAA 4-diamond resorts will absolutely blow you away. It's a great place for staycation. You can let relaxation take charge with unbeatable desert and mountain views. And, it's Arizona, so the pool stays popping almost 12 months out of the year. So even though it's fall here, they tell us it's going to be fall here soon at the end of this month. I don't believe them. But you can still hang out by the pool, get yourself a frosty beverage, or you can go all in with their 4,500 slots and live table games. Also, you can catch all the action at any one of their sports books with an unprecedented level of entertainment and excitement that you just won't find anywhere else. They've set a high bar. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. And join me and Damon out there. We'll be at the roulette table betting on red and winning lots of money. Also, speaking of winning lots of money, you got to check out the Bet365 app. It is never ordinary over at the Bet365 app. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary over there. They have over 90 million users worldwide, and for good reason. They offer all sorts of fun, enhanced bets throughout the year, including they have all sorts of NFL offers this season now that it is football time. They have on Thursday nights, they have their $10 safety net bet offer, which you can get tonight on Thursday Night Football. On Sunday Night Football, they have a $365,000 jackpot. And if you place a $10 bet on the first touchdown scorer, you get a split of that $365,000 jackpot and bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Also, Monday Night Football, 50% super profit boosts tokens on same game parlays. So do not miss out on all of this action. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up and use that code of PHNX365 when you do. Deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 or more to get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, players, props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or over and physically located in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov. Well, like I said, the mother effing Yoffs are on the horizon. We can see them, but can we get there, right? This is like when your gas light has been on for entirely too long, and you have no idea when your car is literally just going to give up and stop on you. But you can see that there's a Circle K 3 street lights down, but it's just all red lights and traffic between now and then. How do we get there? Do we get there? Does the car run out of gas? Do we end up having to get out of the car and pushing it? Do we just abandon this car and buy a brand new car? Well, that's all the questions we're going to answer right now, because the Diamondbacks are trying to figure out a way for them to not only win this series against the Phillies, but also take a series against the Dodgers and a series against the Padres to end the season. And of course, Part of this was moving the Diamondbacks to a 4-man starting rotation to accomplish this feat with those 9 games left that you see before you. And this is tough, man. I mean, this is literally the ghosts of our past in a way. These are our biggest enemies. If this was a video game, it would be like, no, not one final boss, 3 final bosses in a row before you beat the level, right? So that's where it stands right now. And the Diamondbacks.
These are the ops, Derek.
These are the ops. These are literally the ops. They're the ops now. And should we make the postseason, they're the ops in the postseason too. So this is truly the postseason already for this team. The Diamondbacks, like I said, moved to that 4-man rotation per Toy Lavallo. That puts Krismot in the bullpen, which we don't like. We don't love that around here. But we do love the idea of Krismot being a secret weapon for this team out of the pen. I'm not sure if he's going to pitch the same as he was as a starter. I don't even feel like he pitched in his past as a reliever the way that he has pitched as a starter for this team. He is incredible. He is Papa Krismot, and we want to make sure that he gets utilized properly. But this could be good for this team, especially over this 9-game stretch, because if any of their starters, like Erod or Fott, have one of those starts like they've had in the past, not to say they've had many of them, but both of those guys not too long ago had a 2 2/3 inning outing where they had to be pulled because they were getting rocked, and the Diamondbacks pretty much were out of the game before they reached the 3rd inning. So the Yoffs in this case run through the Mets, and we have to figure out a way to roadmap us to the promised land. So how did the Diamondbacks get to the postseason? First and foremost, we need the Mets to lose, which I don't believe they are currently doing, and that makes me very sad. But the Mets do have this game today with the Padres, and overall, they have three game sets to finish out the season, giving them 10 games. However, their road to the playoffs is much easier than ours, and they already have a head start on us. They have 3 games against the Nationals, 3 games against the Cubs, and 3 games against the Marlins. Now, the one thing I do like about those scrappy, crappy teams that they have to play in there is that at least they're like teams that hate the Mets and want to do everything they can to impede their season. So those teams have nothing to play for at this point except spite and hatred. And sometimes that can lead you to exactly where you need to go. Maybe we need to have a little meeting with the Diamondbacks, Nationals, Cubs, and Marlins, and just all kind of have a little rah-rah about this right now. But like I said, the Dbacks have those 3 games those 9 games that we just saw. So how do we get there? Well, the Mets record determines everything, and it determines what the Diamondbacks will need to do in order to get there. Right now, the Mets are winning that game against the Padres. Should they hold on to do so, they would need to basically go 6-3 the rest of the way to make this impossible for the Diamondbacks. If the Mets go 7-3 over these next 10 games for them, the D-backs really don't have a shot. They do, but that shot requires them to go 8-1. If the Mets somehow find a way to go 8-2, it's all but a wrap for the Diamondbacks. But if they go 7-3, the D-backs would need to go 8-1. And there the math just kind of breaks down, right? So the impossible tier here would be the Mets going 6-4, or I guess impossible would be trying to go 8-1 over a 9-game stretch against these opponents. Improbable would be more if the Mets find themselves going 6-4 or 5-5 over this next 10-game stretch. If they go 6-4, the D-backs need to go 7-2, and if they go 5-5, the D-backs would need to go 6-3. But the realistic tier is now if the Mets can figure out a way to be the Mets and bumble this before the end of the season. If they can have a losing record, if the Mets can go 4-6, the Diamondbacks only need to go 5-4 over their 9 stretch. If the Mets can go 3-7, the D-backs would need to go 4-5. And if the Mets somehow go 2-8 over their last 10 games, the D-backs only need to win 3 games. But all of those scenarios have another danger, and that danger is, and I mean, even the improbable scenarios have this danger of the Giants and the Reds lurking right behind us. In these scenarios, you have to consider what the Reds and the Giants are doing, because if the Mets go 4-6 and the Diamondbacks go 5-4, either one of those teams could just go on a tear, get hot, and pass both of us, right? So that's where we stand right now, and that's how many games the team needs to win. Now, going 5-4, I think even winning these series and going 6-3 is probably the most that you can hope for. You can't really hope for the Diamondbacks to go in there and sweep the Phillies, the Dodgers, and the Padres. You can't expect that. Could they do it? Sure. Could I win the lottery on tonight and then never show my face on this podcast again? That could also happen. I don't think tonight, because they don't do a drawing tonight, but on Saturday.
I like to think that You'd share the wealth a little bit.
No, I would share the wealth, but do you think I'm gonna like come to work again? Like,
No. I never expect you to. I think
Damon's never gonna be on this podcast again either. If
first and foremost, Derek and I are now living the content life. We're funding ourselves.
Yeah. We're just gonna do like Kai or one of those guys, right? We're just gonna
100%.
play video games and have a mansion and
100%.
film each other jumping in the pool. And
Derek and Damon join Phase House.
Yeah, exactly. I've been waiting for this call. Hit me up, Phase House. But again, the Diamondbacks have a lot of work to do, and like I said, they need a lot of help. They need these other two teams that are below them to continue to not be better than them. They need the Mets to struggle against teams that, quite frankly, they should probably beat. And they need to win themselves against some of the toughest ops that they've ever faced. It can happen. And if they do, I said this at the beginning of the month. I said this quite a while ago. This team deserves all of the credit in the world for being able to traverse this gauntlet over the month of September and make it to this point. Hell, I think they deserve all the credit and all the flowers in the world for just sitting here at a plus 500 record at this point after all they've endured. This team has so much fight in them, but again, there's only so much that they can do for a team that doesn't even have a goddamn first baseman, right? Like, it's crazy, but they really need a lot of help, and they need to play their best baseball of the year. So this next 9 games is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I just implore fans to not crash out if they don't make it. I think that, again, just to be in this spot, just to be here on September 18th talking about the Diamondbacks possibly making the playoffs is a miracle based on how this season has gone for this team. The injuries, the trade deadline, terrible play at times. It's all somehow in the past. And now what they have is their most difficult stretch of the entire year, but they're on a roll. They're playing good baseball, and they could do it. So got to stay positive and got to believe. Got to believe. That's all. That's what sports is all about, is believing. But we are going to take a quick break. On the other side of this break, we're throwing it back to purple and teal. We're going to talk about some amazing stuff that happened not only on this day, but this week in Diamondbacks history, including more Randy Johnson history. That like, we should change Throwback Thursday to just Randy Johnson Day, basically, is what we should do. But
what did Randy Johnson do on this day in Dbacks history?
On this week in history, basically. Yeah. We're going to talk about all that on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, for more than 15 years here in Arizona, Access Insurance Agency of Arizona has provided affordable and reliable car insurance to drivers in the Phoenix metro area. And we know how it can be when you are shopping around for car insurance. You typically maybe call 1-2 providers, you might get some rates, and you just might settle with what you think is the lowest option. But Access Auto wants to help you get the most affordable insurance that you can find. As a dedicated part of the local community, Access Auto helps Arizona drivers get insured by offering flexible coverage options and accepting various forms of ID, driving history, and license types. By partnering with over 20 insurance carriers, they make it easy for you to compare rates and find the best policy for your budget. They also have bilingual Spanish-speaking agents at 9 convenient locations across the valley. So Access agents are ready to assist customers in finding the right coverage for their budgets and identifying available discounts. Both cash and card payments are accepted for added convenience. They are trusted by the community, rooted in Phoenix, and ready to help. It's Access Auto. All statements are subject to terms, exclusions, and conditions of the applicable policy. In all instances, the current policy contract language prevails. Coverage is subject to an individual policyholder's meeting underwriting qualifications and state availability. Other terms, conditions, and exclusions may apply. And Damon and I are decked out today in some of our finest Diamondbacks gear because we are ready for the Yops. We are ready for the Yops to start today, and we are ready to go to war for this Arizona Diamondbacks team. And of course, a great place for us to get fitted exactly like we're fitted right now is Rally House. It is the place to go to shop for all your favorite local Arizona team gear, with tens of thousands of products to shop from and amazing locations here in Tempe, Mesa, and Glendale. There is no reason for you to not go get fitted on game day at Rally House. If you have not checked out their locations for game day gear, they have everything you need. Hats, socks. Do you need socks that match your outfit? They got them. It doesn't matter what they got. Make sure to check out Rally House. Every time you visit a Rally House, you're guaranteed to find something new, unique, and that matches your game day vibe. Find your local Rally House location and shop their entire product assortment online at rallyhouse.com. Throwbackthurday.com today. And yes, in case you're wondering, I did maybe just throw out my quad, raising my leg up like that. But Damon, you know what day it is, you know what time it is, and you know what we do on Thursday. It is time to throw it back on Throwback Thursday and talk about some fun things that have happened in franchise history on this particular day or week or whatever I feel like talking about that's happened around this day. But on this day in 2002, I love when something happens on this day. On this day, on September 18, 2002, Greg Colburn became the second player in team history to hit for the cycle. It was against the San Diego Padres. That's fun. Doug Nickel was the opener, and then Oliver Perez got the bulk of the work for the Padres that day, and that is who Greg Colburn did the damage against. He is the second player to do it. Luis Gonzalez was the first to do it on July 5th, 2000. Again, it's either Gonzo or it's Randy Johnson most of the time. But Greg Colburn, one of those names that if you asked who has the cycles in Diamondbacks history, that's the one that people are going to forget. They're going to remember Aaron Hill. They're going to remember Luis Gonzalez. They're going to remember everybody else that did it, but they're not going to remember Greg Colburn, unfortunately. So put some respect on Greg's name. Considering what happened to Brandon Pfaadt yesterday, this next historic moment is very ironic. But on September 13th, 1998, Andy Benes came within 2 outs of completing a no-hitter in a 5-0 win over the Cincinnati Reds. And it was part of an amazing September for Benes. He went 3-0 with a 0.47 ERA that month. Benes ends the season with a string of 27 1/3 scoreless innings. Man, that was nails right there. And also, it's kind of funny that Brandon Pfaadt also just had almost a no-hitter there. 1 hit in his outing yesterday, Damon. Kind of makes you sick. Speaking of one-hitters, got another coincidental one-hitter. Randy Johnson. There it is. You knew we were going to get around to him eventually. September 14, 2003, Randy Johnson tossed a one-hitter against the Colorado Rockies. And then 5 days later, on September 19, 2003, the big unit hit his first career home run. It was amazing. And it was amazing for multiple reasons. Not only was it a Randy Johnson home run, right, that we all remember and cherish. It was against the Brewers, and it was off Doug Davis, but it was in a 3-2 baseball game. So it mattered. Randy Johnson not only hit a home run, he hit a home run that helped the team win it. You could argue it was the winning home run. I don't think it was the last home run, but you could argue it was the winning home run. So that's fun. Johnson also that day pitched 6 innings, gave up 10 hits, 2 earned runs, walked 1, and struck out 10. And that was like a bad day on the mound for him. 10 hits allowed, 2 earned runs. Might as well be 50 hits and 20 runs for Randy Johnson. But a couple of at least one other fun pitching stat, or at least thing that happened this week. September 19, 2011, one Ian Kennedy became the National League's first 20-game winner after a 1-0 win over the Pirates, allowing 1 hit. Again, 1 hit. That's the theme of today's Throwback Thursday, with career high tying 12 strikeouts. He's been the only pitcher since 1900 to register at least 10 strikeouts and allow 1 hit or less in his 20th win. That was Warren Spahn, who did it in 1960. He had 15 strikeouts. So he was the 4th D-back to reach this mark, joining Randy Johnson, Curt Schilling, and Brandon Webb. So it's hard to remember how good Ian Kennedy was for the Diamondbacks in the 2011 season. Gets glossed over a lot when you talk about top pitchers in team history. You do not often hear Ian Kennedy's name brought up nearly as much as he should be, because he was very good for this team. At least that season, he was incredible. Last but not least, this one just kind of made me laugh, Damon. On September 19th, 2013, the Arizona Diamondbacks ranked as the #1 franchise in Major League Baseball, according to ESPN, the magazine, in their ultimate standings. They were the #1 overall baseball franchise and the 6th overall franchise in all of sport. I need to know how ESPN the magazine came to this conclusion.
What year was that?
This was in 2013. 2013. Yeah,
I'm looking around. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
We weren't even good.
I don't know, man. I'm not trying to disrespect our beloved franchise, but I don't know at any point ever in franchise history where you would maybe
guess the record that year.
What was their record that year?
Guess it.
72 and 90.
81 and 81. I mean, the most average team the sport's ever seen.
What was their record in 2012, though?
In 2012, they were 81 and 81.
In 2013,
94 and 68. That was the last time they won the division. Right?
Was that 2013?
11.
So I don't know. I don't have any defense of this. I have none at all. But I mean, I will say this, that there was a time where the Diamondbacks were very well ran. And I don't think that they're not well ran now. I just wouldn't argue that they are the best, the most well ran, best franchise in baseball. Like, that's just a crazy thing to say. And again, that's no disrespect to the Diamondbacks. It has nothing to do with the people even running the organization. It has to do with the level of success that other teams have experienced. It has to do with the amount of money they generate, the fan base, how often. I mean, the Padres sell out every single home game, right? I mean, they weren't doing this then, but like now, I don't know. I don't even know if the Diamondbacks would necessarily rank in the top half of Major League Baseball teams as far as the number one franchise ranking Major League teams. Like, that's, and that's 12 years ago. That's not like it's that much time has passed. I just don't understand how they came to that conclusion at that time, considering, the Diamondbacks just have been they haven't existed for very long. Just all of it's weird. I mean, maybe I guess if they were calculating in how many championships they've won per year based on their existence, that it came to that sort of conclusion. But I need to find this article and read it and understand the reasoning behind this decision. Maybe I will do that during the commercial break. I'll go find it. But unfortunately, I have to talk and do stuff. So what we're going to do, though, is we're going to take a quick break, and then we are going to go down to Snake Farm, and we are going to take a look at what exactly has been going on with the Amarillo Sod Poodles in the Texas League South Division Series. The Amarillo Sod Poodles are in the Yoffs, and we're going to talk about the mother effing Yoffs on the other side of this break. Don't you go anywhere. You're watching the PHNX Diamondback Show. Well, Pure Edibles is a great company that makes a great product. They have a wonderful line of candy, and when I say a line of candy, I mean Pure Edibles makes products with THC that go beyond just your regular gummies, which their gummies are not completely covered in sugar like other companies, but they have their gummies, they have their hard candies, they have chews, they have soft candies, and they even have their kicks, which are their version of Starburst. But they also have a collaboration right now with one of the greatest breweries here in Arizona. Mother Road Brewery, which makes the iconic Tower Station IPA, has collaborated with our friends at Pure Edibles to form Noble Road.
Did they make anything more for Derek Montilla in the history of the world?
I mean, the only thing I can think is if they put a little luchador mask on it with a snake.
Yeah, how could we incorporate wrestling and baseball with?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I would have needed.
With marijuana, right. and IPAs.
I love when things are made specifically for
You're a simple man, Derek.
I'm a simple man. I love my weed and I love my IPAs. That's it. And I love Mother Road Brewery and I love Tower Station IPA, but I'm also in love with this new all-in-one that offers the crisp citrus and piney hops of Arizona's favorite IPA, but with a smooth THC twist. There's no pouring, there's no wasting, there's just puffing and good tasting high whenever you want. If you're in Arizona, make sure to swing by select dispensaries and grab your Tower Station all-in-one from Noble Road. Right now, go find yourself their edibles as well as that all-in-one from one of over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. And of course, another thing that partners very well with stopping by and getting yourself a new Tower Station IPA all-in-one is stopping by Circle K, getting yourself something to drink. Maybe you grab yourself a Tower Station IPA. Maybe you grab yourself one of their other amazing beers from their beer cave, or you can just save lots of money by joining the Inner Circle, which you should do before you stop by. Right now, it's easy. All you got to do is sign up, get enrolled, and then you use your phone number to score Circle K deals like 79-cent Polar Pops, 99-cent Frosters, and 3 Gatorades for $5. They also have a deal on gas where if you visit once per week and either spend $5 or fill up on 5 gallons of gas, you'll get 10 cents off per gallon on your next fill up, and you can earn that once per week. So do not miss out on all of these deals or the beers over there at Circle K. Join the Inner Circle for free right now by downloading the Circle K app. Terms and conditions do apply at participating locations. Visit circlek.com for details. I feel, Damon, like we need a song to go down to the snake farm. You know, like some sort of like, you know,
jaunty the snake farm.
Yeah,
snake farm.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Write that down. We're gonna brainstorm it after the show because you're really onto something.
Let's get some like T-Pain audio. Type of audio going on the background.
Some auto tune. It's going to be great. But unfortunately, even though we are very excited that our Amarillo Sod Poodles are in the Yoffs down there in the Texas League, they did lose their first game to the Midland Rockhounds on Tuesday night at Hodgetown. You got to check out Hodgetown, by the way. It's one of the best stadiums in all of minor league baseball. But the Amarillo Sod Poodles, they did find themselves in an early hole, but they fought back valiantly and fell just one run short of winning that game or tying it there in the South Division Series. But a couple of guys had great games for this team. Gavin Conticello, he had a clutch 3-run home run in the 8th, and he has driven in a run in 5 straight games. He has been very good lately, as has Christopher Torin, who tripled and went 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. He has a hit in all 6 games that he has played as a Sod Poodle. So it's really fun to see these guys coming up and what they can add to this team. Damon, I think we got the Snake Farm? Yeah, let's take a look at what their seasons have looked like so far. Yeah, Christopher Conticello there, he was 1 for 4 with that home run, 3 RBI and run scored. Torin was 1 for 2. He had a triple and a run. He also walked 1 time. But Mitch Bratt, who is a name that many people may or may not remember, Mitch Bratt was the pitcher for Team Canada here at Chase Field when they played the U.S. team in the World Baseball Classic. He is now, for those of you that might not remember, he is now a part of the Arizona Diamondbacks organization. He went 4 2/3 innings pitched and 6 hits. He had 6 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, and 3 strikeouts. He has a 3.38 ERA this season and 122 1/3 innings pitched with 148 strikeouts and a 1.17 whip. So he has been kind of killing it this season, and he is a big acquisition that the Diamondbacks picked up there at the trade deadline. It's going to be interesting to see how all of those pieces kind of come together, but some of them have been, really moving through the organization, have been doing an excellent job. And again, he had a 3.18 ERA in his time with the Frisco Rough Riders, and now 3.98 ERA with Amarillo. And again, not to give excuses when their ERAs go up just a little bit like his did. He only had 6 starts for the Sod Poodles during the regular season. But again, it is a little difficult to pitch in Amarillo, just like it's difficult to pitch for the Reno Aces. So it's just one of those situations where you got to give a little bit of credit when a guy is able to post like a 3.5 ERA or lower for the Aces or for the Sod Poodles. But another guy I just wanted to bring up that has really I've seen his name a lot lately, and I feel like he deserves a lot of credit, is Christian Robinson. If you don't know the story of Christian Robinson, we've been talking about him on this show for a very long time. He has had a unfortunate series of events and things that have occurred that have kind of held his career back. He was once a top prospect for the Arizona Diamondbacks in this organization. He went through some legal troubles after having somewhat of a mental breakdown and has rebounded so nicely. He came back to the organization after being designated for assignment, and honestly, lately has been just pretty amazing. Like, he is slashing 273, 405, 492 with an 897 OPS for the Reno Aces this season. He has 36 hits, two home runs, and 20 RBI, and that's in 38 games played for the Aces. He started the season in Amarillo and made his way up to Reno. And again, just a wonderful story in baseball if he can somehow find his way back to the game. And not just the game like he has and succeeding at a minor league level, but if Christian Robinson can somehow find his way to the major league rosters, I think it would be one of the best stories in the history of this organization. It shows an immense amount of resiliency and ability to overcome things that sometimes are out of players' controls. Not to mention the fact that I think it highlights exactly how difficult it is to be a minor league player. And, again, some of the struggles that athletes kind of go through trying to navigate these expectations, these playing for, minor league system and having things not necessarily go your way at times. I mean, he has had a long history with the Arizona Diamondbacks dating back to when he was 17 years old back in 2018. So this is a guy that has been a part of this organization for a long time. And it would just be tremendous to see, after a considerable 2-year gap in his professional career, him to be able to get things back on track and eventually find his way to a major league team. But the minor league system, as a reminder, really sucks. And one of the things that we are going to start talking about more and approaching more is this situation that's growing towards 2027, or at least December 1st, 2026, with the end of the collective bargaining agreement and MLB Players Association and owners needing to figure out a new deal. It feels very much like the owners are going to continue to push for some sort of salary cap and salary floor. We're starting to hear this more and more right now, and Jeff Passan wrote an article today in regards to it. We're going to dive into that article on tomorrow's postgame show. But first, I did just want to let you guys know about it so you go get a chance to check it out and read it. And I do want to say that this is not a great situation for baseball overall. It feels like we are careening towards a work stoppage in 2027. And it kind of bums me out. I feel like it's why I haven't talked about it more on this show. I don't really want to face any kind of work stoppage for baseball. We've been there. We've done that. It's been terrible. And I would really like for them to figure out a way to get this done beforehand. But the one major thing here to remember is that, unlike other sports, playing professional baseball is almost closer to the lottery as far as getting a deal and getting the money that one day you're promised or that you hope to get, rather than a merit situation. There are so many hurdles that you have to navigate and pass in order for you to get to the major league level. And throughout that entire process, you are paid less than an entry-level employee at many corporations. You're paid less than, in some cases, a person working at the supermarket that you're going to buy your groceries. And that's why it's so difficult for these young players at times to be able to navigate that minor league system and make it essentially to Major League Baseball. And it's because of how difficult that journey is that most players would argue that there should be no cap placed on how much money any individual player can make, or how much a team should be able to spend in order to acquire the best players that they want to acquire. But every other sport has a salary cap. And again, it's just crazy that baseball doesn't. Of course, it's the Dodgers of all teams that have kind of broken this situation and even caused the Yankees of all teams to cry foul about how much other teams are spending. But we're going to dive into that much deeper on tomorrow's episode. Also, I have a big announcement. I've already revealed this big announcement, but in case you didn't know, our friend Blaze Alexander is going to be stopping by tomorrow. Arizona Diamondbacks dynamic super utility player.
Ever heard of him?
Have you ever heard of him, bro? He's freaking awesome. And he'll be the first one probably to tell you that. No, I joke. He's a humble guy, and he's an amazing player. And I can't wait to chat with him about just his path in baseball, his brother, who's also an excellent baseball player, and just also talk about, what this opportunity for him is like. Blaze was one of these young guys that was uncertain of his future not that long ago. Blaze was a guy that just experienced, an injury this very season that caused him to question when he was ever going to see major league playing time again. Not to mention, He was in the minor league system with a kind of a stacked D-backs roster that you were unsure of when your time was going to come, considering that the top prospect in baseball also plays, third base. And you might see that with Gino's expiring contract as your only path to get to the majors. But Blaze found his way here. He has excelled. He has been amazing, and I can't wait to talk to him tomorrow. So make sure you guys stop by for that. We're going to do a special Blaze Alexander only episode tomorrow. So we will have that before tomorrow's game, and then we will still be bringing you our normal post-game show after tomorrow's game 1 against the Philadelphia Phillies right here. That will start 1 hour after the final out. Damon, what should we realistically expect to see here out of this team? I went over the stretch. Do you feel 6-3 is realistic, or do you feel like even asking that much from the Diamondbacks is asking too much?
No, I think that's entirely realistic, and I think the Diamondbacks continuously play up to their competition, Derek. We talk about it all the time, but the part that's difficult here, I think, is that these teams are still fighting for seeding a lot of them.
Fighting for something, yeah.
The Padres maybe at the end of the year might not be fighting for anything. We'll see,
yeah.
But the Dodgers and the Phillies as of now are fighting for seeding. And so I don't think they're going to just kind of roll over and die for the Diamondbacks.
Doesn't seem like that, especially with them changing their starting rotation there to push Ranger Suarez up into that game 3.
Yeah, and the interesting part about it as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, Derek, but say the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies in a series, that almost makes the Dodgers play harder going into the next series because that
you're right.
That pushes them closer to the 1 seed potentially. Yeah. So it kind of is an interesting dilemma in that regard. But I think that 6-3 is entirely possible. I think that Padres series almost has to be an S word at the end of the year, though, if you want that to be the case.
We're not allowed to say that word anymore.
Oh, I didn't say it.
I know you didn't say that. But I guess the thing we could hope best for is that any of these teams, again, you're never going to get them putting out a B lineup at this point of the year. And they all still have something to fight for in some way. None of them, the Phillies have clinched the National League West. Dodgers haven't, or East. The Dodgers haven't clinched the National League West yet. They still are dealing with the Padres. The Padres still have a chance to catch the Dodgers. So what's funny is you're not wrong. That goes for the Dodgers series too, Damon, when you really think about it. If the Dodgers get S-worded, I almost said it, if they get S-worded by the Diamondbacks, now the Padres, if they have found a way to catch up, they might have a chance to catch the Dodgers for the division. So then in turn, they might have something now more to play for in that final series of the year instead of not. I hate it. I hate how difficult this is for the Diamondbacks. And again, prognosis does not look great. However, this team is scrappy and they have somehow made it to this point right here. So let's all believe, let's all watch them, and let's hope that this team can find a way to beat all of these teams before them. Just go on a little 9-game winning streak to end the season. No big deal. Not that hard. Again, I told Damon yesterday about Scott Mack, but the beast Scott Mack himself is here. Great to see him. He says Blaze the Hitmaster, and I don't hate that nickname at all. But what we are going to do is we are going to thank all of you guys for being here. Like I said, we'll have that interview with Blaze tomorrow before the game, and then tomorrow we'll still bring you a post-game show after Game 1 between the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. Make sure to come back here for that. And also make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at cap_caveman with a K. Of course, the man himself, Damon, is at Damon Dog. That's a DAWG. And we are all Damon's dogs. Bark, bark. Sean in the chat brings some negativity right before we get out of here. He says, season is over, y'all. Should have won yesterday. And Tory should have taken Friday more seriously. Any way to push an anti-Tory agenda, I mean, credit to you for doing so. But the season is not over, as we discussed here with the numbers. So there's a lot more to play for, and hopefully the Diamondbacks can prove our friend Sean dead wrong with this whole situation. But again, we thank you guys so much for following us, for being here, for joining us. Damon, I already gave you're a Damon Dog, DAWG, but we're all Damon's dogs, bark, bark. Show is at PHNX_Dbacks, but as always, all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We thank you guys so much for swinging by. We'll appreciate you. We'll see you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow. Manifest positivity. I love it, Scott Mack. That's all we can do right now. That's all we can do. Just hope for the best and prepare for the worst. And I guess the worst would be taking this jersey off and putting an Arizona Cardinals one and getting ready for football season. But I'll do that when the time is right. Until then, we appreciate you guys so much. Love you for stopping by. Hope you have a wonderful evening, day off from baseball, and we'll get it back going tomorrow. Until then, appreciate you. Have a good night. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it is so much more fun when the Mets lose.
We all silly.